Alright, it's on, unmuted, so just make sure you put it on.
So it's on. So I have to use. Oops. So I have to use this system.
Yes.
So it's not even working. Is there a reason why?
You. That's on you. Because it's working just fine.
I literally am staring at it. Okay, maybe I'm
The
typing
PowerPoints
it.
are on here, correct? I think just a little loud.
The PowerPoint is on the. It's on the content.
Is it on your computer or here?
Hopefully it's on both. It's on the attorney content.
Alright, what does it say when you sign in?
It just says wrong password. Can you sign? I don't know. And like I said, Google that and everything.
Yeah, that's what everybody should hear that all the time. I do. I'm not kidding. I promise.
Let me see. Okay, so
This is what you log into UH Access, correct? Take your time, make sure captions got on. And try one more time and take your time.
or maybe can you just help me type it?
Huh?
Maybe I'm not seeing it. This is literally I didn't change it. This is still the password.
Plus sign? See, this is why you should do your own password.
Did it go? Really?
Told you it was you. You didn't believe me. Watch, she mess up too. That's what you said in your mind. That's what you said. I knew it. Because I would have said the same thing.
So I should put it on the.
If you can, if it's not going to mess up anything. If not, I can try to get a flash drive. But
Hopefully it's there now. Let's see. Get LA. Oh no, not you. Stay here.
I'm not going anywhere. Wait. If you have it, because once you have it on here, it goes to your main one, right? Yeah. Type in. Go and try going into Turning Point up there, because you have access, right? You have your own password and stuff. Go ahead. It should still be there, actually. Come to think of it. You may not have to do anything from now on. I mean, I'm glad you came prepared, because most people don't. Anything you want.
I have to change it.
No, this is for offline in case the internet's not working or something. So remember this. You just made it 1, 2, 3.
Now you tell me.
Sorry. Why not?
Sure.
And taste. Sometimes I'll be like, oh man, I don't know this could taste so just like try.
Is that everything still there?
Let me check. Okay. No. Let me check. Let me see something. Can I just put this in
Yes.
here?
So you're supposed to be able to put stuff on the online one, right? Because
Is there any way I can hide this screen up there? Real quick?
oh yeah, sure.
Sorry. Thank you so much. I just think it's so neat. And then once we have to no, Juliana. So I was gonna add like one of these stickers. Yeah. I was gonna add like
She shouldn't need her laptop for this, right?
No, she
No,
shouldn't.
just plug it into the,
Yes, sir.
yeah, the stick. Okay,
Because we don't have an HDMI on this.
there you
This
go.
one.
Okay.
Everything's good?
I get my mobile response up and running.
And then we got to turn on the projector when you're ready.
Yes.
So we're good to go. All right, great.
All right, should we want to restart the recording?
No, it's okay. Yeah, thanks. Hello, everybody. Sorry we're getting a little late start. We have back-to-back classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes it's a little challenging. Plus, I have some corks, if anybody needs one. So I wanted to get those. And the student that delivered those to me swears they are clean. So if you can trust your fellow students, you're welcome to a cork. So let's see, we've got turning point. We think we're going to test it out, right, Osese? Are we pretty good? Okay, here we go. You guys have your turning point? You have your phones? You ready to go? Let's take just a minute and see if we got this right. Yeah, hold on. There you go. Okay. Session ID, right? 311356. Let me look at it from yours. Says invalid. That's why we're practicing. So that's your subscription code.
Yeah.
So you need to put this is the session ID code. Your subscription code is what you bought. You need to log into your subscription in order to get that.
So
You have to purchase a subscription. That would be the challenge, Logan. Okay, so you just do that. Just put your name down and your PeopleSoft number and give it to Osese so we count you here today. Yes, is that okay? And try to get that lined up. Has anybody been able to access? Yeah, has it worked? Well, there you go. Oh, here we go. 24 responses at the top. Polling is open. Yes, ma'am? No sessions available. Why don't you close out of that and refresh and try it one more time. And if that doesn't work, then put it down on a piece of paper and we'll get you today, and then we'll figure out a solution for next time. I've never done it from your perspective. I'm sorry. Who can help? Camille? Can you show her those? So yeah. Okay. Not just yet. We got 27 out of 50, so we need some more. How you doing? Good. Good. Did it work? If you know how to do it and somebody else doesn't, please help them. No, you're good to go. Yeah, just ignore that. But thank you for asking. You can't get through? No questions. That you might be a little farther down the road than you need to be. We just want the session ID. To answer the question, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a security thing. Yeah. But Logan, we know you're good because you can't send it to anybody. I think you got to add the session ID, and then you answer. Yes. Are you guys good? Oh, you're buying it. Yeah, okay. Listen, if it's a challenge, just give Osese a piece of paper with your PeopleSoft number on it at the end of class. Right? You don't have to do it right this second. Just do it. Yeah. Do it when the funds are plentiful. I don't want anybody to be overdrawn due to the turning point. That would create more problems than not being here. All right, and we're learning as we go because they keep updating it, right? And so we keep trying to stay up with it. I say we like, there's a partnership here, but Osese is the one keeping up with it and doing it. Thank you very much. How many we got? 37. Is everybody in? Anybody still trying? Okay, let's close. All right, you're still trying? Okay, let's give it just. Yep. 61. 62, excuse me. How are you, Regina? I like your water cup. That's cool. You should sell those.
Yeah, I saw it.
I think people would buy them.
Yeah, it's like a side business by
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. That's neat. You put the glitter high. You put the glitter on it and everything. That a girl. You're creative. That's awesome. Okay, so we need to get you onto Turning Point, please. And then I've got a lot of name tags. If you did not bring your name tag, please remember next time to do that, right? And then put a little something on there so I know a little bit about you. What is that pin that you have, Joanne? An anime. You're an anime person. You like anime. Okay. Logan? Yes, right. Okay. When the time is right. Zachary? I got it. Okay, you did that. All right. We'll do it. Spruce them up a little bit. Lauren likes pastries, cake, pastry cook. Christina, what is that? A whisk. Okay, I like that a lot. All right. How many of you can use a whisk? Yeah. How many of you make your own real whipped cream? Yeah. Are you guys foodies? You guys think you guys are good foodies? Fun. All right, what's your favorite restaurant? Favorite restaurant? Oh, you're not a foodie. You're not really a foodie. You don't eat out. How many of you eat out? How many of you eat out at least, let's start with this. How many of you eat out 5 times a week? 5 times a week. How many of you eat out 3 times a week? Okay. Yikes, I eat out 3 meals a day. I'm always buying. But that's a good point. All inside the loop. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I typically don't venture outside the loop. Although every now and then I will. I'm excited though. They're building, I live in the Montrose area, and they're building a Whole Foods right downtown, or in Midtown. So that's exciting. As I enjoy, like I say, I eat out, but I'll go to Whole Foods and get some prepared foods or the salad bar and things like that. Yeah, as you get older, at least I find, you don't eat as much. Like I typically eat 2 meals a day now instead of 3. But honestly, let's have that conversation. How many of you think the way we eat in the United States is pretty messed up anyway?
So messed up.
Yeah. Why though? Why do you think it's messed up? Yes, ma'am, in the back with the glasses. Tell me your name. I apologize. You told me before. Yes, ma'am. Sahar. And so why do you think, are you guys getting an echo? Hey, Sahar, hold that thought. We have a special guest. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Alumni himself. He actually used to sit in these chairs. His name is Michael Paday, and he's here because Mr. Paday is teaching another section of this course. But Mr. Paday is probably the best connected person in all of Houston. I didn't exaggerate. Sometimes I exaggerate for effect, but this time I didn't. That's not. But Mike is here because he's lined up some of the coolest guest speakers to come into his communications course. And you guys might wish you had taken his class once he tells you who these people are. But I've asked Mike to come in and to just give you a little bit of insight and info about who's coming and when. Please welcome Michael Padette.
We are getting class with the best, so I just try and ride in his wake. I'm that surfing guy you see on TV riding in the wake of the boat. This gentleman right here has been doing it for a very, very long time. Yes, so my name is Mike Padette. I'm from class of '89 here at the Hilton College. Actually, I was one of the first people to take class in this building when it opened in 1989, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I won't take much of your time. Good morning. I will tell you a quick story, and then I'll get on to the networking part of what we do in the other communication class. So about 2 years ago, I don't even have to embellish this story. 2 years ago, I came to speak to a class just like this one. They were in the class for about 6 weeks. It was hospitality marketing. And I said, how long have you been in this class? And they said, 6 weeks. I said, Camille, have you met Lauren? Well, of course. How long have you been sitting in that seat? 6 weeks. Did you meet Lauren? Of course I met Lauren. Did you meet Rima right behind you? No. Did you meet Madison over there? No. Have you met Zach? No. I said, so you've been sitting in a hospitality marketing class for 6 weeks, and you haven't met the person sitting right behind you. So I made everybody get up, move around, sit in a different seat, come back, sit down 5 minutes later, meet somebody new. They all sit back in a different place. Right here in the middle, dead center, is a young lady, African-American girl, looked like she was about 24, 25, tears streaming down her face. Tears. First thought was, nice job, Mike, you made the girl cry. Well done. I said, if you mind, could I ask your name? She said, my name's Olivia. I said, Olivia, if you don't mind, what happened? Why are you crying? She said, well, I'm a single mom. My husband's in the military. I'm raising 2 kids. I came back to get my degree, and I've had a hard time finding a job. And I said, I understand. So why the tears? She said, when we got up and moved around, I met Cynthia, who works at the Omni in Houston, and she hired me. And I said, so essentially, I didn't set this up. Essentially, the answer to your problem has been sitting behind you for 2 rows behind you for 6 weeks. And because you took no time to get out of your little rut in your non-networking brain in college, which is the best place to meet everybody you'll ever want to meet for the rest of your life, you didn't meet the person who could then hire you. I said, I didn't set this up, but that's a perfect example. As you're 18, 20, 22 years old, and you're in a rut, you sit in the same place at the same time, in the same spot, talk to the same person, drive here the same way, take the same route, pick up your phone the same way, brush your teeth with the same hand. If you don't believe me, switch hands tomorrow.
That's hard.
It'll hurt you.
It's hard.
Ladies, if you don't think you're in a rut, you do things the same way every day, switch your hair dryer and your brush tomorrow. See how you come out, right? Right? Because that's where you are. So I challenge them moving forward to sit in a different place the first 6 weeks of class. Sit next to somebody new, meet somebody new, and network. So in our class that meets Monday and Wednesdays from 2:30 to 4, that networking is going to get shown off a little bit. So our first 2 speakers, and you're welcome to join us, actually took a class vote yesterday as to whether we were going to let anybody else hear these great speakers. And they said yes, so if you know anybody in there, you'll have to thank them. So September 11th, we have Reed Ryan, who's the president of the Astros. September 18th, we have Jamie Roots, who's the president of the Texans. And they're going to come in and do sit-down, 40-minute, then Q&A about not only how they got there with networking and communication, but also hospitality, stewardship, service, all the things that we're all talking about. How they communicate with their teams, how they communicate good news and bad news, right? Conflict resolution, difficult conversations they have in HR. We also have folks coming in from the San Jacinto College. We have the young lady who used to be shop girl in the Houston Chronicle, who's going to talk about social media. So what I'll do is I'll share with Dr. Mark the list and the dates, but I wanted to give you the first 2. And we have 14 speakers coming into our class. And we now have 28 in our class. All right. So we're growing. So if you would like to come, we'd love to have you. It's right next door in 125, 2:30 to 4. So September 11th is the first one. We do ask that you dress professionally on those days when you come in. It's not a shorts and flip-flop t-shirt opportunity. First off, you're going to be in front of somebody that you might want to talk to later on and hand a resume to or have a conversation with. Showing up in your shorts and flip-flops is not going to be your best move. But any of the others that come along on that list, we have probably the best marketer in town who launched the Bayou City Arts Festival, does all kinds of communications and marketing in the general population. He actually launched the Houston Texans. You're probably not old enough, that makes me sad. remember when the Houston Texans launched, but it was actually 20 years ago this year that they got the rights to have a team again, and they started the 2-year process of launching. We also have, let's see who else. We have someone coming in from Disney. We have someone coming in from, like I mentioned, San Jack, from the University of Houston's communication team. And they're all going to talk about different facets: social media, face-to-face interviews, how to simply email back and forth, conventions. What's the right thing to do and what's the best way? And you can ask them straight on a question. How should I respond to this? How should I respond to that? Body language. Jamie Roos is really good at body language. He's really verbal communication. He'll have a fun conversation with him. So I just wanted to take a minute. Dr. Barth invited me to come in and invite you. I will share you the whole list. Maybe I'll just print one out for you. You can put the stack up here somewhere. I think they can access our class.
Or if you can send it to me, if you can email it to me, then it'll say we'll just post it, and then they can find it.
I'll email it to you.
That'd be great.
What I would ask you to do is shoot me an email that says you're coming, so that we will know what size the room is going to be that day, so that we can add it to our class. Okay? And I see you're probably responsible for bringing your name tags with you if you have them. I would suggest that you bring those with you when you come to this, because our class has the same. We have the same thing going. You think it's for your benefit, it's actually so that we can know who the heck you are for 6 weeks. And then when you start moving around, right, every class, you're sitting somewhere else, your doctor doesn't have to keep up. All right, anybody questions for any of that? Good? So thank you, good luck, you got the best here. So I just aspire to be him. So thank you all so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I didn't say this. I said he's the guru of alum. He is the director of the University of Houston Alumni Association. I mean, that's a big, big deal. So it's
Correct. So you're all going to be great alums.
That's right. They're all going to be great alums.
Our webpage is HoustonAlumni.com. Start working now, especially if you're a junior. Raise your hand, juniors. Any juniors? Seniors? Oh yeah. Everybody in this room needs to be joining us. All right. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, before you go, I want to do a quick lightning survey. Stay right there. How many of you, either now or even before, would like to have or have had some financial literacy education during your time at the university about student debt, budgeting, things like that?
Buy a car, buy a house.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
We need you.
We're working on that.
We need you.
All right. Great.
He's the guy. He is the guy. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Okay, guys. So, Mike's a communicator, isn't he? Yeah, he's good. He's a lot of fun, and he's really got these great relationships. And so we were talking about it, and I thought, wow, I really want, because I typically don't use a whole lot of guest speakers. And so if he does, I think it's great, and I want you to get exposure to that. And I hope you'll go to it. We're gonna talk about all of that, networking and emailing and all of that. We're just gonna do it in a little different format. So I do hope you'll take advantage of that, and because he's got some great speakers lined up, and I think it's an awesome opportunity for you. And I love the story you tell us about the speaker. That was good. Speaking of the Texans, Madison, did you talk to your father more about San Angelo?
Yes, he said that most of his friends used all the time.
Yeah, to friends. But to ask your dad now, it just dawned on me when Mike was talking about, you guys aren't old enough to remember, but before the Houston Texans were here, we used to have the Houston Oilers. And now they're the Tennessee team. Bud Adams was a car sales guy here, and he made a bunch of dough, and he bought a football team, and he kind of blackmailed, blackmailed probably a strong word, but that's what they do, right? They try to leverage their position and say, if the taxpayers won't build me a new stadium, I'm going to move someplace that will. It's really not a very nice thing about professional sports. But, so the city said, no, we're not going to do it, and he moved the team to Tennessee, right? And they named them the Titans. And then we had to apply for a new franchise, so we did, and ultimately we had to build the stadium anyway. But how do we build the stadium? How do taxpayers build the stadium? Bonds. But how? That's exactly right. We issue bonds. So in other words, we borrow money, and what secures the debt? So if you're going to buy that bond, if you're an investor and you're going to invest in City of Houston bonds, say it's $1 billion to build the stadium, what do you want to know about that $1 billion before you give it to the city? You want to know how long it's going to take to pay back, and how it's going to get paid back, right? Right? So, and you want security, right? You guys put your phones up. You want security, right? So if you want, what's the best way to secure a debt that a city has? Taxes, right? Everybody's got to pay taxes. What types of taxes build these stadiums? What time? Sport authority tax, but it's also occupancy taxes at hotels, right? And car rental tax, right? Why are those types of taxes easy to pass? Who pays them? Tourists that don't what? They don't live in the city, so they don't vote. Do you see that? So every city has passed these types of taxes because it's so easy to pass them, because the residents go, I don't care. I'm not going to pay that. But they forget that that's exactly why we became the country that we are today, because we complained about what? Without representation. It's exactly, and so here we are doing it now in every single city. We died over it before, and now, yeah, what's the big deal? So just a little history. Okay. Why do you think our food, it was Sahara? Sahara. Why do you think the way we eat in the United States is kind of off? Portions are too big. How many do you think portion size is? Wow, I didn't even get the question out of my mouth. You guys are already there. Okay. Do you think just portion sizes at restaurants, or do you also eat those large portion sizes at home? At home too. Interesting. There's a fascinating article in the New York Times today. I haven't had a chance to read it all, but it's about our food is killing us. So if you want to read it, I'll post it. But it's our food is killing us. Speaking of postings, Osese, where's Osese? Oh, there you are. I sent an article over to you the other day about Google searches. Is that posted? Guys, it's one of the best. Listen, learning how to search online is an exceptional tool today. And you need to learn how to do it. And I came across an article over the weekend. It says 6 tips for enhancing your Google search capability. I'm telling you, this guy lays, or the lady, I can't remember what, but he or she lays it out really, really well about enhancing your search capability so you can find things quicker and more deeply. I'd encourage you to read it. A couple of them were pretty complex. So I skipped those. But 4 out of the 6 are really good. And I'm sure some of you with your capabilities, you'll catch on to the other 2 really well. But I really encourage you to read that. I think it's under resources in there, so I'd get you to do it. And I'll try to post this other article about food from the Times. If you don't have a subscription to the New York Times, you can still read it typically, as long as you don't exceed 5 articles a month or so. So try to keep you within that realm. Yes, portion sizes is one reason. What's another reason? Yes, sir, in the back. What do we call that? Wait, you said it a little differently than I heard. I heard something different. You said availability of unhealthy food. That's not something I would have put that way, but I think you're exactly right. Yeah, it's totally available, isn't it? And how many of you think the food you get today at, let's just say, most restaurants is relatively unhealthy? Raise your hand if you think so. Yeah, I think so too. So another thing my generation created, right? Unhealthy food. What? Now, have you heard this concept, food deserts? What's a food desert? Yeah, an area that lacks healthy food. Yeah, so it lacks healthy food options. Yeah, just typically fast food. And so what do we see in those spaces? We see, larger people that have struggle with their weight because they're raised on that from the get-go, right? Yeah, so that's it. Christian? How many of you agree with that? It's a lot cheaper to eat unhealthy. Okay? And that is a cultural problem. Yes? I mean, that's something we need to address as a country. Is that fair? Yeah, I think so too. So, look, many of you are going to have the ability to influence this. So I hope you will take that seriously. So, you've got to kind of choose the battles that you want to fight. If food is one of your things, then I encourage you to make it a lifelong passion. How many of you have had or even maybe today, you think you have an unhealthy relationship with food. Yeah. Yeah, the reason I understand that is my daughter had an unhealthy relationship with food early on in her life, and now she teaches people about nutrition and how to have healthy relationships with food. She's been trying to teach me for a long time but hasn't taken it yet, but I'm working on it. But I think that it's absolutely crucial to consider your relationship with food. And I say that because I talk a lot about emotional intelligence, as most of you know or heard me talk about it. But what we're learning is how important your nutrition is and your relationship with food is to your emotions. And it's absolutely crucial. So you might want to think about that and reflecting on what you put in your bodies, bless you, because what goes in has to come out. And when I mean come out, I don't mean your biological aspect, I mean your emotional aspect. Because if you're filling up with caffeine and sugar, it's going to come out somewhere, and it typically comes out in depression or it comes out in explosions, typically. So if you're feeling in those extremes, you might want to sit back and go, what am I putting in to fuel myself? And then really just have a conversation with yourself, not when you get the food, but before you buy or order the food. Ask yourself, do I really want this in my body? Right? My quarterback, you probably have that conversation with yourself, don't you? Yeah. I hope you'll learn it early on. It's a lifelong endeavor, right? You need food. What do you guys think about the Impossible Burger? Who likes it? Who's tried it? Impossible Burger. It's grain. It's out of grain, but a lot of people love it. And look, they can't keep it in stock. They are overwhelmed with orders. But who's fighting it? The meat industry is fighting it. But why is the Impossible Burger so, or alternative substitute meat products, why are they so important? More sustainable, why? You're exactly right, but keep going further. Teach us why. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. He's exactly right. And so the reduction on our dependency on cattle is big because of the grain and the corn, the modified corn that we feed it, right? So that's one problem we have. But what's the other challenge with cattle? What's one of the biggest negative impacts on climate? Cows, the methane. Yeah, but the methane in particular is a real challenge for climate change and reducing the ozone. So it's really a fascinating thing. And then you have what's really wrong with our country is you have special interests that are trying to keep us from doing what's best for the country. But listen, I'm not just pointing out the cattle people, right? They've done a lot for a lot of things. But the special interest thing hopefully is another issue you guys will solve during your lifetime. I hope you will. All right, so today, let's talk about a couple of things. One is, I went through your presentation drafts that you created, and I was very impressed. It's exactly what we were looking for, and it looked to me like you guys really spent some time looking at the template, following the template, and I hope you will utilize that template going forward to build your presentations, both now and in your future. It's one of the best templates I've ever found, and I think it will serve you well. And these were very helpful. These were not, we didn't grade these, we just checked it off that you did it, so they're recorded, so if you'd like to pick it up after class, you're welcome to. I asked you to take a picture of it, but if you'd rather have your hard copy back, it's here for you to take. No obligation, just if you want it. So, and then I've already seen some memes come through. How many of you have already done your meme? All right, good. You found the meme app, it's helped, the meme generator app, so it's helped. All right, it's kind of fun. Am I going to laugh at some of these? Okay, I'm excited. Is anybody doing it around my quest, my tobacco thing? Thanks, good. All right, good. We'll see how it goes. What did you do, Angela? Oh, what did you do, Kelly? Oh, it was. All right, good. I don't know that I had a chance to see them all. So it says say we're gathering those, we're going to put them in, and then we need to make a list so that they know who goes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Make sense? Yeah, so you guys, when you come into class, be ready to go, because we're going to crank this up right away. Now, your goal, when you come up here, right, this, this is just to, see if that won't echo anymore. This is just to get you used to standing in front of the class. So before you come up, and it's going to happen quickly, and it's going to be like creeping death. Have you ever been in the class where they say, okay, we're going to go down the row and everybody has to stand up and introduce themselves? And how do you feel when it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Right, I call it creeping death. So look, that's going to happen to you. But look, you want to feel this, feel it, but don't fight it. Don't fight those feelings of anxiety. Don't do that. Welcome that. Recognize and own the fact that that's your body's way of telling you that you are ready to do this. That's what those feelings are. Breathe. Set your intentions. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to smile. I'm going to make eye contact. And it's going to go great. And that's what you're going to do. And this is a very safe place. And all we're doing is getting you used to standing up in front of people just for 30 seconds. Got it? That's our goal. That's all we're trying to do this first go around. Okay? Everybody good? Now, let's talk a little bit about some skills that we want to practice during all of our presentations throughout this semester. Okay? And these are our personal delivery skills. What do we do with all of this? How about our voice? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about our personal delivery styles. I saw some of your posts. I thought they were great. And you guys raised some things that I think are worth mentioning in class. So many of you talked about the need to have confidence. And that's important. But it's hard to have confidence if you've never stood up and spoken to people, right? So we're going to try to build our confidence. One of the ways we build confidence is by being totally vulnerable is important. I was thinking about the word prepared. But yeah, so being vulnerable can help with confidence, but being prepared also. And we can be prepared by using what? The presentation template. See how it all builds? Okay. So, how many of you have, do you have the little, there's a little piece of paper on Blackboard that talks about your personal delivery styles? Anybody have that? Yeah, have it. Okay, that's right. Are you ready? Let's take some notes, if you want. First of all, you've got 3 primary aspects to your personal delivery style. 3 primary aspects. One is vitality. What does vitality mean? What's vitality mean? Tell me your name, sir. Yes, sir. Pierre? Pierre. Vitality. What's that mean to you? Vitality. You want to phone a friend? You want to phone a friend? Would you like to phone a friend to get some help? That's all right. Angela, can you help Pierre? Vitality means somebody help? Yes. Yes, liveliness, enthusiasm, energy. Pierre, who brings that to a presentation? Everybody brings it, but who has to bring it? Exactly. The presenter. Very cool. All right. Pierre's on target. That's all I have to say about it. You've got to bring it, you got to own it, and that's it. There's also the visual and vocal aspects. So the visual, let's start with that. What's the most important thing you can do to make credibility with your audience? Eye contact. You got to make it. Boom, 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 boom. Hold on. Stay with eye contact. Stay with it. Now, what's next? Body language. Body language. Pierre, what are you telling me by doing this? You'd like to think that, but no. Body language. What does this do? What does this tell you? I'm not open. I'm not listening. Even though I think you are listening. You're just comfortable. Yeah, try to be more open. Relax a little bit. Put your feet down. There you go again. See, you're more comfortable. You're shy. You're trying to close yourself off. It's okay. You're going to be a great speaker, I can tell. All right? Yeah, there you go. You're going to be a little self-conscious about it now that I've done it. Now, Pierre, he demonstrated that, but what did he also just demonstrate? Because he was taking things so well. What did he also demonstrate? Pierre, smile for everybody. Now that is a great smile, right? What's the second most important thing you can do with your audience? Smile. Smiles are contagious. When you smile at people, they will smile. I know you're going to try not to, Madison, but you will smile. See, you did it. It's like a yawn with your dog. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. When you yawn, does your dog yawn? And when your dog yawns, what do? You yawn. It's exactly the same thing. Yawns are contagious. They're even more contagious with pets. I mean, when you smile, your dog probably not going to smile. But when you yawn, your dog will yawn. It's amazing what you can learn in college. Okay, so eye contact, smiling. These are things I want you to practice when you stand up here. So make a little list. I want to make eye contact today. And look, this is not eye contact. Eye contact is holding somebody's gaze for just a moment and making a point. That is eye contact. Okay? And that's what I want you to practice on. Okay? Smiling is good too. Now, if you're talking about something sad, don't smile. But when the time is right, smile. Like when you're introduced, when you're wrapping up, unless you're making a very dramatic point, right? Let's do that. Okay. Smiling. Other types of visual items that are important. Yes, ma'am. It's Shay, I think. Yes. Posture is crucial. What about our posture? See, I'm not a good example throughout classes. If I stand up and speak, I would be. But I typically go like this. And I got a bad back to prove it. But if I were going to stand and address a professional audience, did you notice Mike Paday? When he spoke to you, what did he do? Just a bit, but for the most part, he was here. His posture was excellent. Did anything he do interfere with you hearing the message? Okay, and that's what you want to eliminate. You want to eliminate anything that can impact the listener receiving the message. Like, how about if I did this the whole time? Could that get distracting? What if I did this about every 2 or 3 minutes? Would that get distracting? What if I took my watch off and on? Took a ring off and on? Yeah, those are all what we call idiosyncrasies. Little personal tics, T-I-C-S, which are behavioral things that we do that can be distracting to the audience visually. They tend to focus on that rather than what? What the message is. And we learned the first day of class, is it important what's said or is it important what's heard? What's heard, what's received. Okay, so other things we do when we, as Shay pointed out, is posture is good, but also your movement. Have you ever watched somebody speak like this? And they talk to you kind of like this, and they're kind of doing the samba or the watusi. And they're doing this because why? Because they're nervous, right? And you have to practice. You have to practice being able to stand still and to speak to people. You may not get it right this semester, but I want it to become one of your goals. Okay? Now, when you're standing here, what do you do with these? Because these can get in the way. The goal, how many of you speak with your hands? Okay, I do too, obviously. But the goal with your hands is to emphasize, right? To demonstrate, to focus. It's not to make a pizza. When you're doing this, what are you doing? You're distracting people, right? Okay, so you've got to stand in front of a mirror from time to time, and you've got to speak, and you've got to talk, and you've got to practice. And one of the things you want to practice is not doing anything that's distracting. But what do we do with our hands? because it's easy to talk about it. But in practice, what do you do with them? So if you want to use them, that's okay, but use them to emphasize, not to distract. But if you don't want to speak with your hands, what do? Do you just stand like this? Is this okay? That's okay. How about this? Is this okay? It's okay. It's okay. What about this? Pierre, what about this? Good answer, Pierre. No, this demonstrates what? I'm not open to anything you have to offer. I'm not really open to the audience, and so you don't want to do this, right? What about this? Try to avoid that. Doesn't matter which side you're on. What about this? No. How about this? Some people. Do you see? Now, if you put a hand in your pocket, you make sure you take everything out of the pocket. Because typically guys in particular, they'll jingle change in their pocket, and that's distracting, right? So be cognizant of this. So you've got to think about these things before you come into the class, before you give your presentations. Yeah? Now, this is called what? Podium. The plural is podia. It's also called a dais, D-A-I-S. Yeah? What's this for? For a presentation. Yeah? It's not for you. It's not for you to hide behind. It's not for you to get comfortable. It's not for this. It's for your notes, or it's for your computer display, which we have here. Yeah? So this is what's known as a confidence monitor. Confidence monitor gives the speaker confidence that what's here is here. And it also tells you your notes. How many of you have used PowerPoint fairly frequently? You pretty good with PowerPoint? And how many of you are familiar with the speaker notes function on PowerPoint? Yeah. So if you're not, you might want to get that way. So if you set it up right, what will display up here is just the slide for the audience, but down here will be your notes that go with the slide, so it can prompt you what to talk about the slide. That comes from, you guys, history I think is important. Do you guys remember flip charts? You still have people that use flip charts? The flip chart, yeah, remember the big white pieces of paper, flip chart, then you put them, now they got sticky on you put them all over the room at business meetings and stuff. But with a flip chart, if you ever use that in business, they're usually, I'm going over to the corner because this is where usually I find them, and they use markers, right? Bright markers to put 4 or 5 points on a flip chart, right? That's what slides are now. That's what a slide deck is made of those those flip chart pages. But if you were a speaker and you had 3 or 4 bright red and blue items on your flip chart, if you were good, you would take a pencil and you would write your notes that you wanted to talk about next to that big bright blue word, right? So if I wanted to talk about hotel development, I would put in pencil, I would put franchising, and then I would put management contracts, and I would put feasibility studies in real light pencil, so the audience could only see what? The blue, but when I was looking at the flip chart, I could see what? My notes. It's exactly the same thing over here. It's just technology has done it for us, but that's where that comes from. You guys, how many of you use the cut and paste tool on Word? Use cut and paste. We literally used to cut and paste documents. We would do 100-page deeds of trust, oil and gas deeds of trust, and if you made a mistake, are you going to go back and retype 100 pages? No, you literally cut that part out and you paste it in a blank piece of paper with the language that you wanted on a blank spot, and then you make a copy of it, and that's where cutting and pasting comes from. I should charge extra for this, shouldn't I? So, be mindful of this. How many of you ever used Prezi? Have you used Prezi? Prezi's kind of a cool tool. It's a little more complicated and not quite as reliable as PowerPoint, and a little more challenging to develop. But I do find that it creates a different viewpoint, a different perspective, and I think it adds some entertainment value to the presentation. So, and you're welcome to use Prezis if you want to in here. But the other thing we're going to do here with this is I want you to practice looking at this, not here, because if you're looking back here, what are you doing? What happens to your eye contact? It's gone. How many of you had a teacher in high school that wrote on the board all day long? Notes, right? Yeah, and then they lost the class. And so you can't do that. You need to stay face forward with your audience. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. That's so important. So this, and then I'm also going to have the audio-visual folks, I think we're going to get a laptop put right here, which will, so you'll stand here instead of behind the podium. Yes, we're going to try that. So I think we're going to get that set up, and you'll be able to practice that as well. And you'll have a remote mouse, so you can stand, you can click, you can watch, and it'll be behind you. Yeah? And we'll just want to move you away from the screen, but we'll figure that out. Okay. Does everybody understand what that's for? And do you understand what it's not for? All right, good. So there's vitality, there's visual, there's vocal. This is an instrument. Yes? Just as powerful as any instrument in an orchestra. Yeah? And this is your instrument when you speak. You want to take care of it, but you also want to use it properly. Okay? Okay. Now, just to make a point, is the visual more important or is the vocal more important? Depends what you're trying to get across. You should be a lawyer on the one hand, and then on the other hand, is it the visual or the vocal? Well, let me give just an illustration. If I came into class and I said, hey class, we're going to have a lot of fun in here this semester. It's just, I just can't express enough to you how much fun we're going to have in here. Yeah. See, that's not going to do it. Or if I said, hey everybody, it's really sad, we're going to go to a funeral here in about an hour. So, the way you look and the way you say things often has much more impact than what you say. How many of you have learned that most arguments you get involved in are usually started by not what you say, but how you say it? Okay? Think about that, and think about that with your presentation skills, how you deliver it. And let's start then with the voice. So, the first thing you want to think about is this term, and I want you to write this down. This should be your mantra for the rest of your life when it comes to presentations. If you teach, train, professional presentations, I want you to be consistently inconsistent. Consistently inconsistent. Pierre, you got a memory, don't you? Because you don't have to write this down. Oh, it's up to you. I don't know. You're a grown man. You decide what's best for you. If it works for you, I'm good. You want to be consistently inconsistent. Now I'm going to give you the things I want you to be inconsistent about. Your volume. What is the appropriate volume when you speak? Brian, what do you think? Appropriate volume. Level, right? Level. No, don't think about decibels. Think about reach. What do you have to be able to reach? I got to reach the back of the room. I got to reach the corners of the room. I got to reach Shay. I got to reach the back of the room. But I've got to do it in a way that doesn't blow out Regina and Liliana. Because if I talk like this, that's going to get old, right? Oh yeah, if I talk like this, then you guys in the back aren't going to be able to hear, right? Okay, so you've got to test. What is it that I need to do to be able to get to the back of the room without raising my voice? How do you do that? Well, microphone is one way. What's another way? Projecting. And what do we use to project our voice? Your diaphragm. Where's your diaphragm? Everybody touch right in here. Now everybody breathe. See, most of you are breathing up here. I want you to breathe. Watch my hand. Breathe there. So when you push with your hand, your air should come out. Yeah. Listen. That is how you speak. That is how you get to the back of the room without blowing out the front of the room. That is how you learn to speak without having to stop every 5 seconds to take a breath. That is how you change the pitch and tone of your voice. And you can change it. DJs don't come out of the womb of their mother going, "Hey, Mom, Dad, nice to meet you." It doesn't work that way. You have to develop this, and you do it primarily by breathing and practicing from speaking here. So if I came in here and talked like this, would I have much credibility? On the other hand, if I talk like this, I might not either, right? So I say, I can talk really low if I want to, but it's not that comfortable for me, and I don't think it's who I am, but I can do it. But I find a voice about right here that works well for me as long as I talk. But if you don't talk from here, where are you talking from? Your chest and more here. And so when you talk from up here, it doesn't sound very good. How many of you have listened to yourself on a tape recorder and thought, "Oh my God, I hate that. That can't be me"? It's because 2 reasons. One, you're mostly talking from up here. And second, the non-professional tapes go a little faster than real time. And so it speeds it up and you're just going a little faster, and that adds to the nasal tone. But if you want to change all that, this is where you speak from. And what's the other thing you do? It's not trick or treat. You use your cork. Those are the secrets. Speak from here to there. Okay, so we talked about volume. We also have to talk about the rate, the number of words we speak in a minute. Stay with me, Joanne. You had a late night. Okay. How many words a minute do we normally, what's our comfortable rate? How many words? Any idea? Take a guess. 100's a great guess. Yeah, it's actually about 125. It's about the rate I'm speaking at now is about 125 words per minute. But how many words can people hear and understand? How many? 70? What do you think, Brian? 80, 85. It's interesting. Every audience I ask, they always tell me fewer words than what we're comfortable speaking. But it's actually much greater. People can actually listen and comprehend words at 250, 300 words a minute. So if I started talking like this, you could understand everything I was saying, right? Yeah. You may not be able to take notes at that pace, but you can understand everything I have to say, and we can talk about the weather, we can talk about anything you want to talk about, but you're going to understand it, right? See? So what does that teach us? When you stand up in front of people, do you want to slow down or do you want to speed up? Yeah. If you get nervous, don't let the nervousness and anxiety make you tight and slow you down. How many of you watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Do you know the teacher? You know, Bueller, Bueller. You want to avoid that at all costs, right? So you want to, when in doubt, if you feel the audience slipping away or you sense some boredom, speed up rather than slow down. Did you have a question? You were going to talk about Ferris Bueller, yeah. That's one, I love it. It's great. Now, so we want to be consistently inconsistent with our volume. We want to be consistently inconsistent with our rate. And we want to be consistently inconsistent with our pitch. What's our pitch? Our pitch is our tone. If you want to know about pitch, think about Darth Vader. Right? James Earl Jones. Think about, this is CNN, or however he does that. My goodness, what a voice, right? Think about your pitch. That's your pitch. You want a pitch, ladies and gentlemen, that matches you. That drives credibility for the audience. Okay? Doesn't have to be a radio voice. Does not have to be a television voice. A voice that's comfortable for you, but is also comfortable for the audience. Okay? Somebody spoke in here the other day. Oh, your name is? Reagan. Reagan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I was born July 23rd, 1996 in Long Beach, Texas. So north of Texas. Son of one of 5 children. My mother, one of 2 from my father. My sister's sitting right there in the back.
Does it just drive you crazy that I think he has a great voice? No, you're over that? Thank you.
Not as big on this speech.
I got it. And Ray, we're going to work a little bit on your enunciation because you've got that long view concept going down. Did you guys ever go to the Country Tavern for ribs outside of Longview? Delish. Yeah. Bring me some next time you come. It's a cool place. All they serve are beef ribs. Speaking of cows, beef ribs, and pool tables. You go in, you get beer and beef ribs and pool tables, and it's really kind of a cool place. And everybody kind of talks like this out in Longview.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah.
More like Louisiana.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah, it's an interesting place. Okay, so you change your pitch by speaking from here. Yes? And then you change your enunciation with the cork. Did everybody bring their cork? Okay, get your cork down. You need a cork. Come get them. Pass them around. And she promised they were clean. And it was a woman, so her trust level is much higher than the guy. Sorry, guys. It's just life lessons learned. How many of you used your cork between the last class and this class? Anybody? All right. Thank you very much. I am so easy to please. But you did it. And what did they think? That's crazy, girl. It's the greatest tool you can use to do this. And it's what? Free. How cool is free stuff? It's free. People say to me, I want to learn a second language, but I can't afford it. What? Go to Duolingo. It's free. Pierre, you need a cork? Pierre needs a cork. Reagan, throw him a cork. Don't throw a cork. I'm just having fun. Anybody else? Who needs a cork over here? Everybody has a cork? We need a cork right here. I want everybody to have a cork. Who's got your cork? Uh-oh. Somebody snuck out before the cork. Regina has a fancy cork. Regina's fancy. Look at this. She made that. And she's selling them. And I'm her agent. So I get a commission. Very cool. Very cool. Everybody have your cork. Are you ready? Put your cork. How do you put it in? Right there. Just like that. Yes. Just enough so that your teeth are separated and your tongue has to work around it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, don't put it all in because I don't want you to swallow it. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, now, last time I did a couple of things just to get you going. You ready? Let's try again. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. You should see how funny you look doing this. I'm secretly recording this and I'm going to put it on YouTube. Just kidding. Okay. Have you ever?
Have you
Seen a devil, devil, devil. Kisses weef, wife, wolf. How much wood can a woodchuck chuck? All right, take your cork out for just a minute. Now, I want you to close your eyes for just a minute, and I want you to get ready. I want you to say, I'm going to enunciate, I'm going to practice this, I'm going to be ready. Okay, ready? Listo. Cork. Repeat after me. I've got a hen. I've got a hen and a couple of ducks. I've got a hen, a couple of ducks, and 3 brown bears. I've got... Stop. Take the cork out and rest. Now, one more time. Cork. I've got a hen. I've got a hen and a couple of ducks. I've got a hen, a couple of ducks, and 3 brown bears. Take the cork out. I've got a hen. I've got a hen and a couple of ducks. I've got a hen, a couple of ducks, and 3 brown bears. Can you see the difference? Can you feel the difference? Okay, we're going to keep building on that each class until you have it down. The way I learned this is every time I messed up, I had to pay $1 and drink a beer. Now you think about that, because every time I drank a beer, I messed up even more. It cost me about wait, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, put your corks up. It cost me $150 to learn this. But it goes on and on. I'll give you a little showcase. It's also a breath builder. I've got a hen, a couple of ducks, 3 brown bears, 4 running hares, 5 fabulous females, 6 simple Simon sitting on a stump, 7 Sicilian sailors sailing the 7 seas, 8 egotists echoing egotistical ecstasies, 9 naked nymphs nibbling on Neb's knuckles and nicotine, and I'm not a fig plucker, but the fig plucker's son, and I'll sit here and pluck figs till the fig plucker comes. Now you think about that last one. If you mess those letters up, fig plucker, you got it, Reagan? Reagan gets it. Okay. Don't do that. Not in my class. Because we record my class, so don't do it in here. All right. I wanted to do 2 other things before we get out of here. One is, if we have time, I want to talk about anxiety. How many of you are anxious or get nervous before you stand up and speak? Raise your hand. Okay, almost everybody is. I am too sometimes. It depends on your audience, right? It depends on what's at stake. If there's a grade at stake, it's going to create more tension for you. If a job is at stake, if your superiors are sitting in the audience, it's going to mean more to you and you're going to feel more anxiety. Here's the key. And there's a great TED Talk on this. Don't think about anxiety as bad. Shift your perspective about that. See it as a good thing. I'm getting ready. My body is ready for this. And by these feelings, it's telling me that it's ready. I want you to put that in your mind. Take a deep breath. Boom. Kick it. Now, breathing. Once you get that mindset, then you need to learn to breathe properly. Where do you breathe from to calm yourself? We just learned this. Diaphragm. You breathe deep. Everybody put everything down. Put your hands on the desk and put your feet flat on the floor. Just relax is all I want you to do. Spread your fingers a little bit. Your toes are in your shoes. Spread your toes a little bit. We call them yoga toes. Just relax. Now, I'm going to ask you to breathe, but when I want you to breathe in through your nose, but I want you to fill all of this up. Most people breathe very shallow, in a shallow form, and I want you to learn to breathe deeply. And if you want to help solve anxiety, you'll learn to breathe like this. I'm going to say go, and I'm going to count to 6, and I want you to breathe in air for the full 6 seconds. But then, I'm going to count to 6 while you hold the breath in. And then I'm going to count to another 6, and I want you to let it out. And push all of that stale air out. We're going to do that twice. Are you ready? When I say go, start to breathe in. We're going to breathe in for 6 seconds, and you're going to think you're full, but you won't be. Keep filling up. 1, 2, 3. Start to breathe in. Go. Through your nose. Breathe. 3. Keep breathing. 4. Keep breathing. You got more room in there. 5. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 6. Now hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, now let it out. Keep pushing it out. 3. Keep pushing it out. 2, till you feel like you're going to faint. You don't have any air left. 1. Okay, now one more time. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now close your eye. Be peaceful. Hold the breath in. 2, 1. Okay, now start to let it out. Slowly push all the breath out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now open your eyes. Anybody high? Can you see how this can help slow you down and help calm you down? Do you see that? Now, lots of things can help you overcome nerves. I listen to music before I speak. I listen to music for 2 reasons. 1, it distracts me, which I want. And number 2, it gets my vitality going, right? So I don't listen to depressing music. I listen to music that I enjoy that kind of revs me up before I speak. But that gets, because I move quickly when I speak, so that gets me in the groove. You can try that. But I also breathe deeply before I get on stage. The other thing I do is I have a conversation with myself about my intention. What is my intention? My intention is to make an impact on the audience. My intention is to make eye contact with the audience. My intention is to smile. My intention is to not do anything distracting, right? I want to set all of those things up here in my mind and my subconscious so that when I get up there, it will happen. You have to set your intentions. That's how you do it. Now, let's talk about why we get nervous and how that tension impacts us. And why breathing works to deflect it. So what happens when we get nervous? What starts to happen with your body? It gets tense, and another word for that is tight. We tighten up, right? When a drunk driver hits somebody in a car, it's the other person that always gets hurt, right? Because why? They see it coming, they tense up, and it happens, and their body's just not ready for it. The drunk, though, is what? And they're rarely, if ever, hurt. Because they're relaxed, right? Okay. So your goal then is when you feel yourself getting tense, breathe, do your best to stay loose, right? That's what you're doing. Okay, but and here's the reason why. When you're tense and tight, what do you not do very well? You don't breathe very well. You breathe very shallowly. Shallowly a word? Well, it is today. We breathe shallowly. So when we breathe shallowly. And so what does your brain feed on? Brings on oxygen. If you're not taking lots of oxygen into your body and into your bloodstream, what is your brain not getting? Food. How many of you get hangry? You get hangry when you don't eat, right? It's the same thing. Your brain is going, dude, I'm hungry and you're not feeding me. And that's until your brain starts to shut down, and that's why you can't think. How many of you have learned that when you exercise is when you have the very best thoughts and the most creativity in your life? Yeah, if you don't believe that, go do a Bikram yoga or a hot yoga class, and after about 90 minutes of that strenuous exercise, or go run a mile, or go do that, you're going to be like, ooh, this is good. That's, the best studying occurs when you're exercising. Listen to a podcast or review your note cards when you're on the stationary bike. Don't do it otherwise. the street. But it does. It's amazing. It's because you have all these endorphins and all this oxygen going where? To your brain. And the opposite is true when you get tight and we shut down and then we can't breathe. Right? That's why you see tennis players. How many of you have watched, who likes tennis? It's going on right now with the US Open. But how many of you have watched players go, yeah, right, when they hit the ball? That's their way of reminding themselves to breathe each and every time. It's crucial. But that's how why you need to think about breathing, because you need to drive more oxygen to your brain. Because if not, it will shut down and the cycle will just get worse. Right? Now, you're going to be a little nervous before you stand up here, but this is a safe place. If you get what's known as stage fright, if you think you're going to pass out because you're so nervous, come talk to me and we'll figure out another way. Fair enough? Hold on. I got one more thing I want to do. Now, I just want you guys to be mindful of the words you use. And I came up with a few. I think I mentioned one to you, the word perfect, right? That it's overused, and you guys said you don't use that very often. So I find that a little hard to believe. But how many of you say, do you know what I mean? And how often do you say it? I want you to be cognizant of how often you say, do you know what I mean, in your conversations with other people. Just be mindful of it. It's not right or wrong, but can it be distracting? It can be distracting. I want you to try to not use the word very. Is there a difference between I love you and I love you very much? No. It's the same thing. How about thank you and thank you so much? How many of you have started that trend? Thank you so much. No, thank you and thank you so much mean exactly the same thing. Thank you. Right? Try to not use the word very. We use the word very and so as defaults, and they get in the way of lots of other words we could be using. So just be mindful of these things. And also, as you try not to, oh yeah, I think I told you, I go into these restaurants and people call me boss. What's up with that? I'm not your boss. Dude, call me, you can call me sir, you can call me Mr. Barth, you can go, don't call me anything, but don't call me boss. What do you got?
Just a comment on that. My dad's interpretation of that is that as a server or anybody, you are my boss.
Yeah.
You tell me
Yep.
when you're going to train.
Yeah.
I'm at your service.
Yeah.
So when I call you boss, that's how I do it.
Yeah, except that I encourage you to go back and look, and so if you want to, do it the historical connotation of that word. And so my point is, we're using these things that we really don't understand what they mean. But honestly, we're just defaulting to it. And here's the thing. How many of you want to work, how many of you would like to work for a manager or a supervisor or a leader? Raise your hand. How would you like to work with one? With one. But how many of you think you're going to work with a boss? Yeah? Yeah? Nah, I don't think so. The connotation of boss is really negative. And I'd encourage, it may not be at what you guys are thinking, but I think for a lot of people it will be. And the point is, though, again, I'm not trying to say do it or don't do it. I'm saying be mindful of how often we default to it. You guys put your phones down and you're not going to be in here. Boss. Because I'm the boss. I like that now. So think about these things. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Really? I'm down with that. You're down with that? I'm down with that. And I know you guys say these things, they sound cool, but you don't go around saying, let's bounce on out of here and getting our hoopties or things like that, right? So if you want to communicate with people, you have to communicate in their language. It's okay with your peers. It's okay to have those, on the phones, what are they, the music? What do you guys call that? When your phone rings, it's chime. What's it? Ringtone, thank you. It's okay to have that. But when you start getting professional and you start going out for your career, you need to think about what's there. You need to think about what's on your social media. Does your ringtone, does your vocabulary, does your social media, does that communicate to other people about you? Say yes. It does. And look, I know a lot of you don't want to become an adult, but it's part of it. If you want to be successful, if you're okay with not being an adult, and you think that's going to be fine for you, and I'm absolutely okay with that if that's what you want in your life, then absolutely keep doing those things. But if you want to progress in a world, in a particular niche of a world, you're going to have to adapt to that. It's really hard to win the game if you're the only one. Well, hold on a minute. If you want to play the game, you have to wear the uniform. Fair enough? And that's just part of it. Now, you may decide I'm going to go in a different industry where they accept me for who I am and what I want to do. I think that's great. Take that risk and go do it. But if you want to go through the more traditional route, then I encourage you to start to begin to think about being more mindful about the vocabulary you're using and how you're saying things. Particularly when you say, just saying, or do you know what I mean? Those are just default crutches that we use as fillers for that. How many of you ever listen to somebody talk and they go and it's distracting? Why do they say and? Because they are afraid of silence. Same thing with just saying. Same thing with do you know what I mean? Instead of that, allow silence to occur. Silence can be really powerful when you're speaking to people. You just got to be okay with it. Got to be vulnerable. And you don't want to be silent for 5 minutes, but try it. It will help you eliminate what we call vocalized pauses, and ums. So listen to yourself. Go. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Don't forget your memes.
Here it asks you to specify the length and the topic ahead of time.
What did we decide you're going to do? You're going to do another presentation, right?
It should probably be another presentation.
Yeah. So let's do 3 minutes. Do you have a pen? And I'll sign it. Did we decide what you're talking about yet? I don't think we did. I'm going to put to be decided. Okay? To be decided. Relevant to course. How's that? Oh. Thank you, Liliana.
So you can hear the accent in my voice, because all my friends, they always say, where's your family from, all that kind of stuff, because they just can't hear.
Yeah. No, but I'm in tune with stuff like that,
Yeah,
so I can hear
absolutely.
it. Yeah. But I've got friends in Lubbock, and the problem for me is when I hang around people like you,
Right.
I start to talk like you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you'll use that chord, dude, seriously, you got a great voice.
Of course.
When you start using that chord, you're going to be amazed at how melodious you're going to
Right.
become. So I hope you do it.
Oh, yes.
I think it'll make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And I encourage you to bring your tone down just a bit.
Okay.
Just a bit.
Perfect.